They don't understand. Casting judgment. I just stand on loyalty. I'm keeping it 100. And that will never change. You can hate it or you love it.
Y'all, it's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. Now, this episode, just like the last few, I don't think this one is going to be too long just because there ain't really too much to talk about. Like, hasn't been too much going on. And I think next week is the week where I have my special guest episode, so you guys can look out for that one. But yeah, so there isn't really too much to talk about this week, but as you can see in the title, this one is for the Power Universe fans. Man, this week has been a crazy weekend if you're a Power fan. Now, if you guys never watched Power, the show is on Stars. If you guys have never watched Power or any of the Power Universe shows, you might want to click off this episode because this episode really isn't going to be for y'all. I hope y'all can check out next week's episode because it is going to be a special one if everything falls through. But yeah, this week is strictly for the Power fans because this has been a crazy weekend. So if you guys do not know what is going on, like I said, Power is a show on Stars. It's created by Courtney Kemp and 50 Cent. And right now, like I said, they have a universe going on. So you had the original Power that I think started in like 2014. And I think it ended in like early 2020. So yeah, you had the original Power. Now you have all these different spin-offs because they want to do like somewhat like a Marvel universe where like characters can have their own shows, but it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary to see them pop up in each other's shows and interact with each other. So without spoiling the original Power, and I'm going to try to avoid spoilers as much as I can. So for anybody that seen the leaks or anybody that doesn't, that hasn't seen the leaks but are just interested in hearing what I have to say about this whole leak situation, then you can stick around because I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers as much as I can. But, yeah, so in this show, without spoiling the original show, you have book 2, which is about, now the first book is about a drug dealer named Ghost. Book 2 is about his son Tariq. Book 3, Raising Kanan, is about, Ghost's mentor who brought him into the game, Kanan. And then book 4 is about his best friend Tommy, who goes to a different city after the events of book 1, the original show. So, okay, like I said, they're trying to do it like Marvel, and the way Stars have it set up is that they release each show back to back to back. So like they'll show, for example, last year, we had season 2 of Ghost. Then after season 2 of Ghost, we had season 1 of Force. And then after season 1 of Force, we got season 2 of Raising Kanan. And then the cycle just continued over and over. That's how they plan on doing it. They plan on doing it yearly. So in 2 weeks, or actually no, yeah, and next week, we are supposed to get the finale to season 3 of Ghost, and shortly after that, we're supposed to get season 2 of Force. So you guys basically get it: Ghost, Force, Raising Kanan. Then Stars show their other shows, and then we circle back around: Ghost, Force, Raising Kanan. That's how it's pretty much going. So, all right, now that y'all caught up to speed with how Stars does it and everything, one thing that a lot of people that love watching Stars shows and watching 50 Cent shows and whatever, one thing we know is there is always leaks. Like, there is always leaks for 50 Cent's shows. When BMF was coming out with their second season, and it's always the episodes where there's supposed to be breaks too. There was one episode of BMF where Stars accidentally put out the episode, and some people was able to watch it. And if some people is able to access it through the app, you already know bootleggers and other people like that, they're gonna have the episode right then and there. So they were re-uploading it, and Stars, even though they took down the episode, people were just re-uploading it and there was nothing they could do. Now they continued with their break and they re-released the episode again the week it was supposed to, the next week, but people still already saw the episode. Then this is just a tradition with just Power. Anytime there is a break between the shows, like they usually have their breaks after episode 8s. So after episode 8, the week that they're supposed to have a break, it always leaks. It never fails. Like, I've actually started to get into the routine of looking for leaks the week that, the episode is that the show is taking a break. Like, I've really gotten into the routine of that. Like with Raising Kanan in season 2, the week we were supposed to have a break, I'm not gonna snitch on the group that I'm in, but I'm on a certain group on a certain social media page, and they share the leaks those weeks. Like the page that I'm in, they share the leaks, and I'm always able to watch them early. And this is no different with season 3 of Ghosts. The page that I'm in, somebody posted this week where they were supposed to have the break. Someone posted that episode 9 was leaked. And of course, I hit that link and of course I watched it. But, I was trying to watch it during work. So every time I had a break, I would always watch maybe 4 to 5 minutes of it and then go back to work and then, give it some more time. I come back on another break, 4 to 5 minutes. So I was really trying to watch this episode during work. But then as I was getting ready to clock out, I see someone on the page talking about episode 10 also leaked. So I'm just like, yo, now I got to go home and watch this. That was instantly what I did because people kept sharing it on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure it's still being shared on YouTube. Like every day since, I think this was Thursday or Friday. Every day since Thursday or Friday, I've been seeing both episode 9 and 10 both being shared on YouTube by different pages every day. So if you guys are a fan of Power and you want to watch the episode early, just look up on YouTube Book 2 Ghost Season 3 Episode 9 or Episode 10, and I'm pretty sure some page is going to have it because it's been being shared every single day. So yeah, this has definitely been a crazy weekend if you are a Power fan. But so let me give my reviews on both episodes without spoiling anything, because I do want to give my quick thoughts and reviews on the episodes, and then I want to touch on a bigger topic. So, okay, episode 9, obviously we see the backlash after Sax's death in episode 8. Episode 8 is already released, so there is no spoiler warning there. If you've seen the episode, you already knew Sax died. So yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to spoil episode 9 and 10, but every other episode is game. If you ain't watched it yet, then that's just your fault. So alright, episode 9, we see the results of Sax's death, and in the episode, he releases a bunch of letters, hence why the title is called The Last Gift. And he releases a bunch of letters, trying to shake things up between Tariq, the Tejadas, and law enforcement. And like I said, I'm not trying to spoil anything. So he releases these letters, and just know that episode 9 is crazy because it shakes a lot of things up. Old characters return. There was a lot of crazy moments in episode 9. I would say episode 9 is definitely one of those episodes that's up there with the original Power. So yeah, episode 9 was a great episode. The ending was a crazy cliffhanger because one character that I've been waiting for to die, if you've seen the leaks, then you know who I'm talking about. But one character who I've been waiting for to die, I thought died, but they didn't. And they gave that person a big ass cop out in the next episode. I am so mad this person is not gonna go. The Power universe just bends for this character, and I feel like they need to go. And like I said, if you watch the leaks, then you know who I'm talking about. But in episode 10, they showed what happened to that character after the abrupt ending of episode 9. And I'm just like, damn, this character really should have died. Like, it was about to happen. I have never hated a power character so much, and I wanted this person to go, and this person just always slithers their way out of everything. This character slithers their way out of everything, and they slithered out of it over a damn conversation. Like, okay, I am someone that believes that a conversation can solve a lot of issues, but for something like this, come on, man. In a way, they kind of just threw out the street code just so this character can survive. So, alright, enough of my mini rant. Episode 9 was good, the ending was good, and while I was annoyed by this character surviving in episode 10, and while I'm annoyed that it just took a conversation to solve this, when if it was anybody else, it would have ended completely different, I will say that there is somewhat of a good feeling knowing that this problem is solved, because if I can acknowledge that if the character did die, then it would kind of fail, the universe as a whole, because some characters would not want to interact with others if this character died. And for a whole universe, you would want these characters to keep interacting. So even though my personal feelings are hurt, I do understand the overall picture that we do need this character alive in order for the relationship of other characters to continue to work. So, alright, I can put my pride to the side for that one. Now, episode 10. Episode 10. You want to talk about a finale? You want to talk about ending it on a bang? Look. And this is about to be some crazy words for me to say. Because out of all the Power spinoffs, I liked Ghost the least. And it's partly because I don't like really Tariq like that. I don't like Tariq. The only character up to this point, up to season 3, the only character that I ever really liked in book 2 was Brayden and Davis. I didn't really like Tariq like that, but here's the thing. I don't have to like Tariq, but I can admit that he is a very interesting main character, and he was one of the perfect people from the original Power to give a spinoff to. So while I don't like him as a character, or while I don't like him, who he is and stuff like that, I can admit that he was one of the best options to run a series. So yeah, I didn't really like Tariq, but he was interesting. Brayden and Davis were the only characters that I liked. I didn't like none of the Tejadas. Maybe Lorenzo. Lorenzo was pretty cool. I wouldn't say that he was like a favorite character of mine, but he was a cool character. I wasn't mad at him. But the rest of the Tejadas, I didn't like. The law enforcement characters, I didn't really like. Lauren, Effie, and Diana, Tariq's love interest. I actually didn't have a problem with Lauren, and actually I did kind of like Lauren, but I don't know, like the way they were moving her character in the second half of season 2, it's not that I didn't like her, but I guess I just didn't care. I guess I didn't care too much. Effie, I straight up did not like. I fucking hated Effie. Diana, she can go. I didn't like Diana. Who else is there? Who else important? Zeke, man, Zeke was my boy. He was funny, but I understand why they took him out. And I guess the other character that I guess I can touch on is Kane. I actually liked Kane in season 1, but in season 2 he became too obsessed with Tariq. And in season 3, for most of season 3, I actually started to like Kane again, but then his hating natures of Tariq came back, and it's like, look, I know I don't like Tariq either. But here's the thing. I don't like D riders either. I hate D riders more than I hate Tariq. So yes, when Kane was back on riding Tariq again, I was like, all right, man, I don't like Kane no more. This dude is annoying again. So yeah, back to what I was trying to say, and back to why I went on those little rants about the characters. Season 3. Now, if I said I didn't like if I said I liked the show the least, I still liked Ghost, but not as much as Raising Kanan and Force. Like, season 1 of Ghost, it was good, but it was my least favorite thing out of the Power universe. Season 2 of Ghost was, I would say season 2 of Ghost was good, but it still didn't hold a candle to Raising Kanan, Force, or the original Power. But season 3 was nothing but back to back to back bangers. Like, every episode of this season is good. And if Ghost was this intense since the beginning of the show, I would have put it up there with Raising Kanan, because so far Raising Kanan is my favorite of the spinoffs. But the way season 3 is going, and if they continue the show like this, I can see Ghost being up there with Raising Kanan and the original Power, because season 3 had plenty of episodes that I said was up there with Raising Kanan and the original Power's episodes. So season 3, the writer's room, I heard they got a new showrunner. No disrespect to Courtney Kemp, but this showrunner, I feel like, handles this show better. The writer's room, the showrunners, everybody in the cast and crew, the editors, even the editing on this show is a lot better. I mean, season 3's editing is better. The cinematography is better. Everybody that's on the crew for season 3, keep them. Do not lose them. Season 3 was so amazing. And I guess this is my overall thoughts on the season now. Season 3 was so amazing. I am glad that they stepped it up. And from what I see, how this season ended, and from what I've seen that they posted of season 4, oh yeah, season 4 is about to be another banger. But all right, let me get into episode 10 real quick. So episode 10 was another one that was amazing. The ending was crazy. And you know what? I loved how they ended this episode, because just like I said, all the characters I did not like. I did not like most of the characters. And the way that they ended this season, man, most of them probably about to go by the end of season 4. So I'm not even mad with how they ended this season, because like I said, I didn't like most of the characters in Ghost, but the way they ended this season, I'm not even mad at all how they ended this season. I'm actually glad as hell that they ended it this way, because now everybody else gets to join me in hating all the other characters besides Brayden and Davis and Tariq, which actually, this is how good season 3 was. I actually don't hate Tariq anymore. Like, I actually don't hate Tariq anymore. That's how much season 3 was so much better to me compared to season 1 and 2. Because I think there was always, now that I really think about it, I think there was always the possibility of me actually liking Tariq. Because like I said, while I didn't like him in the original Power, and there was nothing wrong with his writing or anything in the original Power, his writing made a lot of sense, and there was nothing wrong with how they portrayed him in the original Power. But because the show was in Ghost's point of view, maybe we really weren't supposed to like Tariq like that, because Tariq really hated Ghost. Like, he hated Ghost for real in the original Power. So I guess it would make sense that we're not really supposed to like Tariq like that, or everybody's supposed to draw their own conclusions to how they feel about him. But it makes sense that a lot of people didn't like Tariq like that, because, the show is in Ghost's point of view, and you're watching it in the point of view of someone who he hates. So it makes sense. And book 2 Ghost, I was expecting to somewhat understand Tariq a little bit more now that the show is in his point of view. But season 1, I still didn't like him like that. Season 2, he became a little bit more likable, but I still didn't like him like that. But season 3, I actually like his character now. And see, I feel like, and this is me admitting it a little bit, and I think I said it in the episode that I did with Corey, part of me didn't want to like Tariq in season 1 and 2, partly because I feel like they were trying to force the comparison of Ghost on him. Like at the end of the original Power, they were basically saying that Tariq is Ghost, Tariq is just like Ghost. And for a while, I was like, no, he is not like Ghost. And for season 1 and 2, you know, I feel like the connections between him and Ghost were forced. I feel like they were trying too hard to make him like Ghost, where some things in his life were starting to parallel his dad's life. Some of the things that he would do, like Ghost's stance, or, you know, the type of suits he would wear, and like his little mannerisms, it felt like they were forcing it to me. It's like, all right, you're not trying to make me really like Tariq himself. Y'all are trying to make me like him because he is acting like his dad, but this isn't Tariq. Season 3, I feel like this is where I finally see Tariq. I feel like this is where I finally see him as a character. This isn't him acting like Ghost. He just happens to show the traits that he got from his dad. Like, if you get what I'm saying, the first 2 seasons, it felt like, you know, he was doing Ghost cosplay. In this season, there was no acting or trying to be like. He was just naturally like his dad in a lot of these situations. And I feel like part of it is because they stopped doing so much parallels this season. Like, obviously, you can still draw stuff. Like, some people say that Brayden is his Tommy. You know, as far as love interest, some people may say Diana is like his Tasha, or that Lauren, since she was working with the feds for most of the season, was almost like his Angela, and that there's still that deeper connection between her and Tariq. Like, people will still draw comparisons, but I'll say that they weren't forcing the comparisons over the head with it. And actually, I would even say that, like, this season benefited from them not trying to copy the original Power so much. Like, there was, not saying that they were copying plot lines, like, or stuff word for word, but like this season just felt different from, you know, the original Power in a good way. It felt different from the original Power, but it still had that feel. It still had that essence. And I think the other thing that made this season better is that this season wasn't afraid to go there with its violence and grittiness, because that's the one thing that I put, you know, Raising Kanan and Force over this. Raising Kanan from day one has always been gritty. And of course, it was a 90s show. It still takes place in the hood. So, okay, it made sense that they were still gritty. Tommy went to Chicago and Force. Chicago is known for that, you know, violent and gritty nature. So that makes sense. But with Power, I mean, it's still taking place in New York. We still have connections to the older show. So there was no reason why Ghost shouldn't have been as gritty, you know, as the other 2 shows. But with this season, they stepped it up. I feel like the story was in a great place. A lot of the characters, either the story justified why I hated them even more, or they made me start to look at them in a different way and say, you know what, maybe I was wrong about this person. And don't take this as me saying like, oh, I love Tariq's character now, but I can say that this was the first time that I would say Tariq was actually a likable character. So kudos to whoever was writing for Tariq. You know, kudos to everybody in the cast and crew, because Tariq was amazing this season. But no, the real MVP is my boy Brayden, yo. See, this season, they were teasing a lot of Brayden getting his first kill. And I'm not going to say whether he does get his first kill or not, because that answer to that is in either episode 9 or 10. But, yo, everybody kept calling my boy Brayden a bitch. Everybody kept saying my boy Brayden wasn't really about this life. Everybody was clowning on Brayden, and Brayden has always been my favorite character since season 1. Yo, everybody kept clowning on Brayden. Everybody kept talking about him. And I kept holding out, like, you know, I'm watching this go down, and I'm like, damn, man, like, yo, why are they doing my boy like this? I'm seeing each week how people, like, disrespect Brayden, and I'm like, come on, bro. Come on, man. You got to show these people what you really made of. And let me just say, Brayden is the real motherfucking MVP. He is the real one. everybody that talk work about Brayden, y'all can't say nothing no more after you watch episode 9 or 10. That's not me saying that he's going to kill somebody, but I am just saying that he is the real MVP and he got the job done. He did what he needed to do. Whew. Yeah, my boy Brayden was definitely going in this season. Davis had an amazing season too. You know, the storyline with him and his brother. Some people was mad that Redman wasn't playing his brother anymore, but am I the only person that didn't really care that much? Like, obviously I get it for the culture. Like, you know, Redman and Method Man, of course, they're like a dynamic duo. It makes sense. Like, I get why culturally why people cared, but like, you know, this, as far as Power, like, I didn't care who played his brother just as long as the storyline was continuing. Like, just as long as they know drop storyline, like people be saying about Euphoria and shit. So yeah, episode 10 was great. But what I really wanted, like, the ending was really what really made episode 10 for me. Like, episode 10 was already good, but the ending, not even just what happens at the end, but it's the implications of what's to come for the whole universe. Like, I don't know how they're about to carry out this storyline. I don't know if there's going to be, like, I would love to see a Power movie, like, a real movie in theaters, because Courtney Kemp said that she wanted to do that. She said she wanted to take the Power universe beyond just being on Stars, and she wanted to put movies in theaters, you know, surrounding characters and stuff like that. Like, one movie that she had, I think she said it took place before the events of the original Power, like right before the events of the original Power. And it was going to be like a One Wild Night type movie where where Ghost and Tommy had to take care of a villain, you know, before the events of the original show. And then she also had an idea for Proctor's character, if you guys are a fan of the original Power. I think she said that she wanted to do a movie about Proctor and like his family. And if you watch the original Power, his family was basically I think they were part of the mafia. So that would have been interesting. I could really see them doing something like this with what they teased at the end of this season, because I feel like this would make a perfect movie. I feel like if they were trying to implement this into like Go season 4 or Force season 2, I feel like it would take over the plot of that character's show, if you get what I mean. Like, how they ended this season, I can see them interacting with Force season 2, but the thing is, if Brayden, Tariq, Kane, and all of them gets involved with Force season 2, I feel like it takes away from Tommy's individual story. Then again, they did say it was going to be a universe, so I guess it makes sense if they were to, you know, interact a lot, but I just don't want them interrupting with the whole point of the show in general. So it would be nice to see a movie kind of cover what's going to happen between this stuff. And it would also kind of like almost like The Sopranos, because just like how The Sopranos had the original show, they had a movie, I think in 2021, called The Kings of New York, or the Saints of New York, or something like that, where it was like a movie that was a prequel to the original Sopranos. So I would love to see Power kind of go beyond that, where it's not just content on Stars, but whatever is going to happen. Like I said, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but whatever the ending of season 3 is going to lead into, just so it won't mess with the show's timeline, why don't we have like a movie in theaters that explores that conflict, and then once that conflict is over, then fans can go watch season 2 of Force to continue the story after that. Like, if you guys get what I'm saying, like, I really hope that they do something like that. But yes, this season ended so good, and I really like what it implies for the rest of the universe. I see a lot of, you know, potential in this. So I just gotta say, man, good job to the writers on season 3 of Ghost. I can't wait to see season 2 of Force, because people be hating on Force, but I still love Force. Like, I feel like Force was a really good show. It wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be, but I will say it was still great, and it was still better than, you know, all of season 1 and 2 of Ghost, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, man, I can't wait for season 2 of Force. I definitely can't wait for the next season of Raising Kanan. And I guess I'll briefly touch on this. I've been hearing that Omari Hardwick was actually offered to come back to play Ghost. from stars. And like I said, I'm only going to touch on this briefly because I don't want to get into like the whole is Ghost still alive type stuff or whatever. But I will say, I hope he does come back at some point, but I would only want him to come back when the Power Universe is supposed to end. Because the way, I'm just going off of how they said they want it to be like Marvel. For Marvel, I feel like Ghost returning is almost like a Infinity War and Endgame type of ending. Like you bring every character from each show back for some reason together for this moment of Ghost finally returning. Like the way I can see it, if they are going to move like Marvel, they're not specifically going to have phases, because obviously that's harder to do with like TV shows with complete seasons and stuff like that. If they do wind up doing phases, that would be cool, but I don't think, that would make the best sense. Here's how I can see it. Because at the end of season 4, they already teased that Blanca was gonna, was interested in looking into Chicago. And then even when Tommy does come back to New York, he still got to move silently so nobody from New York sees him and try to investigate him while he's in Chicago. The way I can see them doing this is I can see them setting up Blanca, and now that they implemented Angela's nephew into the show and how he's a cop now, I can see them implementing Blanca and Junior into the show as like some big bads for Tariq and Tommy to, deal with. See, I imagine it as little phases in my head. So I can see them building up to a story where they have to go against them. And then maybe they can do a few more seasons and they have another story where they have to face, another big bad. And then when they're ready to end the Power Universe, like say Force and Ghost get to like their 6 and 7 seasons or whatever, I can see like a new big bad, drug dealer, almost like Noma, where they're international, they're hard to get at, they got a lot of people working for them. I can see Tommy and Tariq getting both their crews together for war, and maybe Ghost will finally have to come out of the shadows if he is still alive. I am actually someone that believes he's alive, only if the ratings go down or if they want to end the universe. That's my answer on if Ghost is alive. But I can see Ghost coming out of the shadows to save his friend and his son, and wherever the universe seems to go. I also have been hearing that they might do an international spinoff, so you never know where Ghost is going to go, or you never know where the universe is going to go. But I can see Ghost coming out of the shadows to save everybody, as one last favor for them. So I feel like that's how you end the Power Universe, revealing that Ghost is alive. He did get a happy ending, and that, he comes in to save his family one last time, just like he would in the original Power. So that's all my thoughts on episodes 9 and 10 and the universe, and y'all basically just heard my TED talk on the whole Power Universe and stuff like that. But here's the final message that I want to leave you guys with, and this is the big thing I wanted to talk about. Look, as y'all heard, I got really excited for these leaks. But here's my final message. Please, even if you watch the leaks, even if you know what happens, please, please, please support these creators and watch the episodes when they officially drop. Because that's one thing I have always done. Even when I get excited for Power leaks, myself as an aspiring filmmaker, I would know how, or I don't know how it feels directly to make like a big budget thing and then have it be leaked. But if you guys heard my story before, where I talked about how I dropped an early mixtape and somehow it got leaked and people was talking about it and judging it before I really had to say so on whether I wanted to release it or not or anything like that. If you guys heard that story, while it's on a very, very smaller scale, I know how it feels to have something come out when you didn't really mean for it to come out. And maybe, you didn't really make that final decision. Like, all right, I want it to come out then. This is how I want it to be. Like, putting final touches on stuff. And you can take this and apply it to anything like music and movies and stuff like that, because there's times where movies scripts will get leaked. I remember Last of Us 2, their script or their story overline got leaked and stuff. So here's what I'm gonna say. If you guys watch Power, and I know you guys may like these leaks, but still support the actors, the crew, everybody. Support everybody when the episodes come out, because that's really how they get money in their pocket, and that's how we really show appreciation for the work that they put in making this show. Because Power is one of my favorite shows of all time, so I always try to support Power as much as I can. Even though I get excited about these leaks, I still make sure to watch the episodes when they premiere, so that I show the love and support to the cast and the crew, because they're the ones that make this show. They're the ones that make the show for us. They're the reasons why we all connect with each other, because I feel like there's a real connection and love within the Power community. Like, I see a lot of the same fans commenting under different Power YouTubers like Mark Dark and No Label the Label and Movie Bot. Whenever I see any of them upload, I see a lot of the same commenters from other channels. Like I said, I'm on a certain page in a social media website where it's just a bunch of Power fans together, and I feel a real connection. I feel like a community there, because we all talk about, our theories and how we loved each episode and stuff like that. Like, we all share our thoughts and opinions, and there's like a real community between the Power YouTube, not the Power YouTube. Well, yeah, YouTube, but like there's a real community within Power fans. So, we all love this show. We all love to come together for this. Of course, we played a part in making Power as big as it is, and even building up Stars to where it is now, because Stars, the work that Omari Hardwick, Courtney Kemp, and 50 Cent and everybody behind the Power universe has put in to where Stars is now. Like, we got to show the appreciation for them. So that's why I say, even if episodes leak, please watch. Don't just watch the leaks and just leave the episodes there. Like, please watch it. Show support, because that's how the show continues. That's how we keep getting this good content, and that's how the shows ultimately get better. Like, I feel like season 3 of Ghosts only got this good because we showed support. We showed Stars that we still want this show, and we, told them where to improve and stuff like that. But ultimately, we showed support, and I feel like that's how the show got better. They see what we want, and they continue to improve on it and make it better, so that we still stayed hooked like we were from day one. So that's my biggest message there this week. Do not skip over the episode when they release. Watch them. Show support. Show love, because, that's how we keep getting, this amazing story that is the Power universe. But all right, man, I'm starting to sound like a broken record with me repeating it. But yeah, like I said, this episode was strictly for Power fans. If you guys still listened to the episode, then thank you. I know this episode really is just towards one target audience, but y'all know how I rock. There's certain episodes where I just like to target one audience. But next week, like I said, if things do go to plan, then hopefully I will have this new episode that will, I feel like we're going to cover some new ground with one of my old topics, if everything goes to plan. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on streaming services, add the podcast, heart it, like it, favorite, whatever. Do whatever to support your boy. And with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out.